A surprise snowstorm with another round possible. The OU Nightly weather experts tell us when it could happen. Plus a big problem in a campus parking garage today. Find out why. And what to know if you want to vote on recreational marijuana becoming legal in Oklahoma. This is OU Nightly. A surprise snow hit over campus last night, and our weather experts say it could happen again tonight. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Bailey Coyle.
And I'm Cathrine Liberta. Many shocked to see snow last night. The flash freeze causing more than 100 accidents across the metro earlier today. Well, the snow didn't stick in the Norman and Oklahoma City areas, but it did melt enough to create black ice. This video from our partners at News 9 shows the slew of accidents that popped up along I-35. Oklahoma City police say 145 wrecks were reported around the metro, almost all of them caused by drivers going too fast on slick bridges and overpasses. And OU Nightly's weather experts say there is a chance we could see the same thing tonight.
Meteorologist Eli Millard joins us now with a first look at the forecast. Eli?
Yeah, we saw big snow last night. Canadian County actually saw a heavier band roll through. Okarche seeing 2.5 inches. I-40 was an absolute mess. But it could happen again tonight, and here's why. Here's wave one coming off towards our northeast. We're dry right now, but out here hanging out towards the west, another wave coming through. Now you can see it here with the upper level low out towards our west. It's really digging towards the south. If it was the spring, we'd have a serious problem. It's bringing in moisture right over Oklahoma, and with that rising motion, we could see that wintry mix and precip. Now talk about later in weather, we've got those precip chances and your Valentine's Day storm later on. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Eli. Another traffic tie-up, and this one had nothing to do with the weather. The problem was in the stadium parking garage this morning when several students were blocked inside. The issue? An overheight ambulance that got stuck inside. OU Nightly's Sydney Wallace is live on campus to explain.
Bailey, Cathrine, what started as just a normal fender bender turned into so much more when a Norman Regional ambulance got stuck trying to exit the Asp Avenue parking garage.
The emergency vehicle collided with the ceiling of the garage, leaving a long line of students, faculty, and staff stopped with no other way out.
I've been waiting about 25 minutes now and have no idea what's going on. I just ran into this long line and I thought it was something minor.
After many attempts to free the ambulance, it ultimately took 3 people weighing down the back of the cab in order to clear the ceiling.
The condition of both drivers is still unknown, but a relative told us they are both being checked for internal injuries. And OUPD has made no comment about the condition of the incident. Reporting on campus, Sydney Wallace, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Sydney. Early voting is now underway in Cleveland County. People will be voting for 3 City of Norman ward races, 1 Oklahoma City ward race, and 3 school board races. Many voters say the chance to cast ballots before Election Day is helpful.
A lot of people do take advantage of it, and it's a convenience because Election Day is always on a Tuesday, which is not maybe as convenient for some folks. So they have several options. Vote early on Thursday or Friday, or you can vote by mail.
Early voting is open today until 6 p.m. and again tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. All early voting takes place at your county election board. The actual election day is easy to remember. It's Valentine's Day, Tuesday, February 14th.
And there's another voting deadline quickly approaching. Voters wanting to take part in this special election on if recreational marijuana should be legal in Oklahoma have to act quickly. The deadline to be able to vote on the state question is tomorrow at 5 p.m. You can register online or at your county election board. The vote to legalize marijuana in Oklahoma takes place on Tuesday, March 7th.
There's new information tonight on what rescues are calling the disaster of a century in Turkey. OU Nightly's Spencer Plato has that and the other headlines from the News Center. Spencer.
Bailey, rescue workers are making a final push today to find any survivors of the earthquake in Turkey. Their efforts come as the official death toll is over 20,000. Experts say there is still a chance that some people could be found alive in the rubble, but with every day that passes, it becomes smaller. Survivors are facing brutal conditions with no electricity or running water and extreme winter weather moving in. SpaceX says it is taking steps to prevent Ukrainian forces from using Starlink satellite technology with drones in their fight against Russia. The company says the satellites were never intended to be used as weapons. Instead, they were meant to be used for communication. SpaceX says how Ukrainians are leveraging the technology is not a part of any agreement. The FBI is releasing new information on the Chinese surveillance balloon shot down on Saturday. Officials says studying remnants of the balloon revealed that it had been part of a fleet that had flown over more than 40 different countries across 5 continents. They also say the balloon was able to monitor U.S. communication. And Oklahoma wasn't the only state to see surprise snow today. Some parts of Missouri saw up to 3 to 4 inches of snow. Cathrine and Bailey, back to you.
Thanks, Spencer. The OU College of Nursing announced a new partnership this afternoon.
Learn who the partnership is with and the benefits next. And we're coming up on 3 years of COVID-19.
How President Biden is responding to the virus after the break. OU Health is partnering with Murray State College and the University of Science and Arts to combat Oklahoma's nursing shortage. Beginning this fall, 6 undergraduate students from both colleges will be offered guaranteed admission. President Harris announced that the education will take place at their hospital in Duncan, as well as their Cameron and Lawton sites.
After 3 years, the COVID-19 public health emergency is coming to an end. Snow Fourth breaks down next steps that will be taken and more in Health Beat.
That's right. While doctors say COVID-19 will never completely go away, the White House says it's ready to roll back federal public health emergency policies. The Biden administration is planning to end the emergencies by May 11th. The White House says it plans to provide a roadmap outlining what the transition will include. And not so fabulous news for those who use Fabuloso cleaning products. The popular multi-purpose cleaner is recalling nearly 5 million bottles due to the risk of bacterial growth. The bacteria could be harmful to people with weakened immune systems or underlying lung conditions. Affected products were sold on Amazon and at Sam's Club and Walmart. And how often do you rewear your clothes? Doctors are weighing in on the debate over washing your clothes every time or re-wearing some things. According to dermatologists, items like underwear, socks, and tight-fitting clothing should be washed after every use to keep your skin healthy. But denim and outerwear can be more than once. Bailey, Cathrine, are you team rewash or rewear? Personally, I like to rewear my clothes, but what about you two?
Thanks. No, it definitely depends on what clothing you are talking about. Well, the president of the Southwest Pilots Union and the company's chief operating officer were in the hot seat today. CNN's Gloria Pazmino has the hearing highlights.
Let me be clear, we messed up.
Southwest's chief operating officer cutting right to the chase.
I want to sincerely and humbly apologize to those impacted by the disruption.
Southwest Pilots Union putting the blame for last December's travel meltdown squarely on company leadership.
For years, our pilots have been sounding the alarm about Southwest's inadequate crew scheduling technology and outdated operational processes. Unfortunately, those warnings have been summarily ignored by Southwest leaders.
The union says failure to properly prepare for December's winter storm, outdated crew management systems, and failure to listen to frontline employees were all factors.
And the cascade of challenges led to waves of cancellations within 2 hours of departure. This overwhelmed our crew scheduling processes and technology.
Southwest says it has worked to make it right with affected passengers, and fixes to the failed crew scheduling system will go live on Friday. This, as all other operational processes are being reviewed. I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
Watterson said he was confident that, quote, the technology would not stop functioning if there was another severe weather event like last December. And Uber released their revenue reports today.
Come back after the break to see how this year's report compares to previous years. And with the chance of winter weather tonight, students are concerned with conditions tomorrow morning.
Meteorologist Eli Millard has a look at tonight's storm. Eli?
Yeah, hey, look, we're dry, even relatively warm outside, but that is subject to change. I'll time out those precipitation chances for you coming up after the break. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us. We're relatively warm and dry outside right now, 52 degrees here in Norman, winds out of the west-northwest. Looking across the state, temperatures in the 50s, some 40s up in the northwest Oklahoma, even in the Panhandle, seeing some 30s. And it's because that cloud cover is on the way from that storm system out towards our west. See cloud cover hanging out up in northwestern Oklahoma. Looking at futurecast, starting with some rain coming into Oklahoma before overnight might transition into some wintry mix into some snow before moving off towards our east. We're dry. It's not going to be falling anymore, but you could still see it on the ground. Talk about precipitation chances. Winter mix starting 20% here at 9 p.m. before peaking at 12 a.m., 80%. Then as you go into later on into the morning, 20% before 6 a.m. At 6 a.m. you can see we are going to dip down at 32 degrees and 31 degrees. That could provide some problems for our roads. Problems for our roads, black ice. What is black ice exactly? It's a very thin layer of ice that accumulates on pavement, and it's really hard to see because it blends in with the road. And whenever you have that snow on the ground and it melts from sunlight, and then it freezes overnight, it becomes icy and it's harder to see. Well, why are we going to see just rain and snow? Well, we're going to start off with a warmer layer near the surface, but as you go on into the night, we're going to cool that layer. As that snow falls, it's going to really cool at the surface. Now for our air mass forecast, here is our storm system kind of fading off towards the east. Going into this weekend, more seasonal temperatures, but here we are. Our next storm system coming in. Happy Valentine's Day. You're going to see some rain on Valentine's Day before that moves off towards the east, and then possibly another storm system coming in later on into next week into Thursday. Now for that rainfall forecast for that Valentine's Day storm, about a ½ inch for Norman. Keep in mind this is still pretty far out. These totals could go up. Heavier rain out in eastern Oklahoma. Now going into tonight, 32 degrees, like I said, dipping below freezing could cause some problems for our roads, seeing that 80% chance of wintry mix. And then going into tomorrow, we're near freezing before heating up to, relatively heating up to 40 degrees. Winds out of the north, and they will slowly taper off as you go out through the day. And then looking at 7-day forecast, 43 on Friday. Look at the nice weekend. Mild weekend, 2 weekends in a row. 60s next week with a chance of rain on Valentine's Day, and another chance of rain possibly on Thursday. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Eli. Uber says it just had its strongest quarter ever. Uber is reporting that their revenue is up 49% from 2021, saying in the last 3 months, their revenue was $8.6 billion. Uber attributes its success to increased ridership as people are resuming travel and in-office work.
And the Sooners have the most former players competing in the Super Bowl this weekend.
Pierce Loeffelholz is live outside of Phoenix to continue our weekly coverage from the Super Bowl. Pierce?
Yeah, I'm out here in Phoenix for Super Bowl 57, where I got the chance to catch up with some former Sooners with their thoughts on the future of OU football's program. Stay tuned, sports is next.
Hello, I'm Caleigh Jo Hommel, and it's time for sports. OU Nightly's covering the 6 Sooners in the Super Bowl all week. Pierce Loeffelholz is live in Arizona.
Pierce?
Welcome to the Gila River Indian Reservation, where the last 2 Super Bowl champs have stayed here in Arizona. This year's guests, the Philadelphia Eagles, alongside former Sooner Lane Johnson. I got to talk with him and other OU alumni with their thoughts on the future of OU football's program.
I'm really excited about where they're heading. You know, I know it was a tough year for them this year, but you know, I've met with the coaching staff. I've talked to them, you know, over the offseason and stuff, and they were, you know, you can tell they're heading in the right direction. You can tell they're going to turn that program to what it needs to be. So I'm really excited to see it. You know, I have full faith in them.
Yeah, I mean, OU has a standard. They have a legacy of putting guys in the pros and guys having long, storied careers. But, yeah, man, it's had a little setback this year, but I feel like we're on the rise.
BV's awesome, man. He brings a standard there, and just from talking to guys that have been around, he's awesome, man. It's great to have him back.
Man, I think they're in good hands with BV, man. I think that, you know, obviously once he gets his guys in and his culture, I think all of that is going to make the difference. So, you know, and as time goes, man, you know, as I said, he'll get his guys in. So I got a lot of faith in it, you know, and obviously after Coach Stoops, Coach Riley, I mean, hey, that's part of the business.
OU football finished with their worst season since 1998 under first-year head coach Brent Venables, but the pros don't seem too worried. Reporting from Phoenix, Pierce Loeffelholz. Back to you, Caleigh.
Thanks, Pierce. Also out west, Sooner softball is in Irvine, California. The back-to-back national champions return to action and look to defend their title Thursday night in the Mark Campbell Invitational. Number 1 Oklahoma takes on Duke in Liberty Thursday. The Sooners finish out the opening weekend with 3 more tournament games. Bouncing over to some men's hoops, OU was hoping to upset Baylor and Waco. Instead, they couldn't survive the Bears. Grant Sherfield led OU, posting 15 points, but they ultimately fell in the road battle 82-72. Porter Merger liked what he saw for some new faces in the lineup.
You know, Ortega got 21 minutes tonight. Joe Bamisile got 18. I still got a ton of confidence in Bijan, but you know, I thought in that kind of atmosphere, you know, you had, I thought Ortega and Milos did some good things. I thought Grant had really got the ball moving. He had back to 7 assists. That was good to see him get 7 assists.
And as for the NBA, 2 former Thunder MVPs are on the move. The trade deadline passed with some big swaps. The Nets traded Kevin Durant to the Suns Thursday morning, and Russell Westbrook leaves the Lakers for the Jazz. But according to multiple reports, he's expected to be bought out to become a free agent. And speaking of the Super Bowl, Cathrine Bailey, who do you think will win the big game? I'm going with the Eagles. You know, Caleigh, I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that one and go with the Eagles.
You know, as much as I love Creed Humphrey, I'm going to pick the Eagles as well. I think that the Chiefs have been to the Super Bowl a few times in the past couple of years, and they've won it a couple of times too, so I'm going to go with the Eagles. Well, come back after the break to see which team an animal out of Iowa picked to win the big game.
I'm Becca Yanez at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The Biden administration is preparing to end the COVID-19 public health emergency. Americans will now have to pay for future COVID-19 testing and treatments once federal policies expire on May 11th. During his State of the Union address, Biden said that the White House will be providing more information on what this transition will entail. Bailey, Cathrine, back to you in studio.
Thanks, Becca. The biggest night in football is this weekend, and there's been a special prediction made in Iowa.
Bakari, a baby giraffe, made his pick for the Super Bowl on Wednesday morning at the Blank Park Zoo located in Des Moines. Zoo staff set up 2 bundles of food with the Kansas City Chiefs logo on one and the Philadelphia Eagles logo on the other.
And after some debate, Bakari picked Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to take the title.
See, I don't agree with the Giraffe. I'm supporting Jalen Hurts.
Me too. I really feel like he can pull out a win this year and just really take the Eagles to a win.
Yeah, I mean, as a former Sooner, I've got to support him. I know Alabama likes to, claim him, but he's ours. He's ours.
Exactly. Now, I know the weather will be nice in Oklahoma during the game on Sunday, but there is a chance for winter weather tonight.
Meteorologist Eli Millard is going to give us one last look at tonight's forecast. Eli?
First of all, I'm trusting the Giraffe. I'm going with the Chiefs. But going into tonight, let's time out that winter weather for you one more time. Going into 9 p.m., we're going to see a 20% chance of rain. Wintry mix going to probably start out as rain. Before 12 a.m., we're going to dip up. We're going to peak at 80%, and then it's going to taper off throughout the morning hours. But as you can see, at 6 a.m., we're dipping below freezing. That could present some problems for your morning commute. Going to Valentine's Day, fellas, don't forget on Tuesday, Valentine's Day, we're going to see some rain early on, but we're going to clear out before the evening. Pleasant temperatures for an evening date. Now for our 7-day forecast, 43 on Friday with that rain early morning, a nice weekend, and then rain on Valentine's Day. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Eli, and thank you for watching OU Nightly.
Be sure to tune in live weekdays at 4:30.
And before we leave, let's take a live look near Phoenix, Arizona.
We'll have team coverage all week from the Super Bowl.
Just another reminder, OU has more players in the Super Bowl than any other program. Good night.